Walk on. This is your girl, the official Miss Jamaica. Y'all might have seen me on Boss Talk Podcast 101. I'm the co-host with my host, my husband, ECEO. Check out that platform as well. But don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on the official Miss Jamaica here on this platform, on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, you name it. I'm on it, the official Miss Jamaica. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share, do all of that awesome stuff to share my content. Thank you so much in advance. But today's topic I'd like to talk about is women, especially women. I'm not sure if men do this, but if men do this, go ahead and comment below and let me know that they do go through the same situations as well. But the topic for today is staying in relationships out of familiarity and fear. When I say that, I see this so much. I talk to so many people. I hear people unload and unpack to me all the time. And they talk about how unhappy they're in relationships. And I think they talk to me about this stuff not only because I've been married for 20 years and they're looking for advice, but because I'm the type of person that can pull myself out of any situation as give you an unbiased opinion. So they do this, in my opinion, usually because out of things that they've seen that their mom went through with their father, or they have abandonment issues, whether their father left them in the past, or because of being through mental abuse, feeling like they're not worthy enough to be in a relationship to be loved. When you're in a relationship where you're hearing more sorries than more happy moments, then you really have to evaluate that relationship and see if this relationship is worth being in. A lot of time, and also if that person that you're with believe in God, you know what I mean? Because when you have a person who believes in God, they have somebody else other than you to answer to, a higher power. And in that case, then it's something else. That's all I can say. It's something else. When a woman pray for her spouse, her boyfriend, her significant other, and know that God can help heal these wounds. But in order for these wounds to be healed, you have to first recognize that you have these wounds and you need help. Just like you talk about people who are alcoholics. And in order for them to get help, they had to first say, I'm an alcoholic, and go to these meetings, or go. Some people don't even have to go to meetings, but really just want to be helped. Some people feel like they don't have a problem. That's the same thing in relationships. When you're in a relationship and there are issues, and you keep looking at your spouse and realize that, or as I said, your friend, your relationship, doesn't have to be a spouse, and they feel like they're always saying, I'm sorry, but they do the same thing over again. It's a pattern. They know that they're going to keep saying, I'm sorry, so that you forgive them and you won't go anywhere. But are they truly trying to make the change? That's why we always say, that it is not what you say, it's what you do. And you can try for a day or two to make a change, but change don't happen in a day or two. They always say it takes 21 days to form a habit. So if you really, really want to make a change in your relationship, if that person, and remember, it always takes two. I will never, ever, ever say to a woman that he's always wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong. I'm never going to say he's wrong. I'm going to say, what did you do to encourage this? What is his triggers? You have to look on your relationship. Maybe something that you say or do. I'm not saying it's warranted what he has done to you, but what did you say or do that triggered him to do that? And that trigger could have came from his childhood. So a lot of times, I'm sorry to say, you cannot be able to communicate with that person. That person really needs to get help or hear it from somebody else. And that's bad in relationships. But sometimes in relationships, communication is never there, where that person is willing to sit down and listen to that person, as in the woman. I'm going to say man and woman, so that you know exactly who I'm talking about. It's so hard for a man to sit down and listen to a woman unless the communication has been built. And communication has to be built either through the initiation of the relationship and it just continues, or through trauma, honestly, and realizing what is at risk to lose. And then you really put down your ego, put down everything and say, you know what? I'm going to practice to listen. I'm going to practice to hear your words. I'm practice to come to a solution. I may not agree with what you're saying, but we're going to come to a resolution because we both have to be happy. People say happy wife, happy life, but it's really happy couple, happy life. I usually hate to hear that statement, happy wife, happy life. Yeah, a lot of women love to hear it. I love to hear it in the beginning, but it's really not always about me being happy. I want him to be happy as well. So I always say happy couple, happy life. So going back to the trauma, we have to really sit down. And when I mean sit down and meditate and realize what our faults are. Go over situations. Yes, a lot of time when we go through trauma, we tend to want to forget about it and move on. Because sometimes that's the easiest way to deal with it. But sometimes the only way you can correct it and not go through the same things over and over in different formats is to really deal with it. You might not want to deal with it in front of anybody. So sit down and meditate and deal with it on your own and really analyze your movements. Sit down and say, okay, I just went through this argument with my boyfriend or my husband. How did it start? It started because I really wasn't listening to him. I was trying to get my point across. What did he say? What was he really trying to say to me? Let me play this back over into my head. Okay? But he wasn't trying to listen to me either, my point. But okay, I see what he was trying to say. I disagree with what he was trying to say, but I understand what he was coming at. But I didn't tell it to him like that. I didn't give him the chance to voice it, his opinion, to make him feel like he was worthy in this relationship of being heard. Okay? That's something I can work on. Let me stop trying to be quick to speak and let me listen more. Then count to 10 and then speak afterwards. If you're like me, who might forget my point, because I be quick with my points and I just want to blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me get a pen and paper. Start jotting some notes down while he's talking. Let him know that's what you're doing so it don't cause a whole nother issue. You're listening, okay? Listen to what he said. Then come back. You might have to cross some stuff off the list because he might already, tackle some of that. Just because you listen to the whole statement. Sometimes we don't listen to the whole statement and realize that he's getting to your point. But we're so quick to jump as women. So let's listen. Let's learn to listen. Okay? Now he said his point. First thing he said, you're not going to jump up and say, okay, now my turn. Da 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 da. No. Acknowledge what he said. Okay, baby. I hear what you said. Even sometimes repeat what he said. I hear what you said. You're telling me. Tell me if I get it wrong in my understanding, because sometimes your understanding, he can say something, but the way how you perceive what he said might be incorrect. So you might want to just sit back and say, okay, baby, this is what I understand from what you just said. A, B, C, D, E. Is that what you said? He might say, no, I said X, Y, Z. Okay. Explain it again, because, this is how I interpret it. This is what, just so you can understand it, because you can't say your opinion about something if you're not understanding totally what someone is trying to tell you. And it might take a while, or you might never get it, but at least that open line of communication start to practice, because it's a practice makes perfect. That open line of communication is here, is coming. You're understanding that there's a break in your communication. You're not understanding what he's trying to put down. And that's what is causing the contention between y'all. Okay? Now, once you get it and say you don't agree with it, find out where his train of thought came from. That's a whole deeper issue. And some people might not be willing to go through all this. But at the same time, if you love who you're with, or you feel like there is more good in who you are with than bad, and you're willing to try to make this thing work, because as I said, you stay out of fear and familiarity. If you're staying out of all of that, and you're putting up with all of this BS, why not switch all of that into making it work where you can be happy and not sit down and just be miserable and talking behind his back and be telling your friends how miserable you are, or sit down and crying in your room or whatever. Put all that energy and effort in trying to make it work. And as I said, by doing so, you know, it might take some years. It might take some months. You don't know. But you don't know until you try. You know what I mean? But as I said, I've been married 20 years. It takes time. Okay? It takes time. But communication, people always say communication is key. But they don't actually ever break it down to say how to communicate. And the things you have to put up with in communication. And even with communicating, sometimes you might not get the same result. But that's okay. Sometimes, as I said, you have to agree to disagree. And so, okay, that's your opinion, that's my thought. But at least we understand each other's stand on this. And not feel like I'm just being unreasonable and you're being unreasonable. Okay? I know, I'm getting over a cold. My voice sounds funny, terrible. I'm stuffy. So, bear with me. But anyway, I'm going to stop right here. Comment below if you want to hear more on this topic. If y'all have questions, because I would love to answer some questions. I would love to tackle certain situations. So please comment below. Let me know what y'all think on this situation, because this is a forever situation. No matter how long you've been in a relationship, no matter how long you've been in a marriage, it's never going to be perfect. You're going to always have to come up with different methods of how to make it work. Okay? Stay blessed. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.